All right, sixth graders, today we're gonna finish up with sample space. Our first lesson, make sure you have your Unit 8 sample space notes next to you. Our first lesson, we went through the vocab, we created and we read through a sample space, really focusing on tree diagrams, really focusing on the word choice and option. We used the counting principle, which was a really fast way to figure out how many total outcomes for an experiment. But what about if we're looking for a specific outcome? That's what we're going to talk about today, and it'll be really quick. So find the last chunk in your notes titled Specific Outcomes. Using this same example from before, we have a rectangular shape and a set of blocks. It comes in 2 sizes, 3 colors, and 2 thicknesses. We're going to use the tree diagram above in your notes to answer the questions that are below. So I just want to know, not how many outcomes there are. I want to know how many outcomes are going to include the color red. So we need to be able to look at our sample space, whether that's in a table or it's in a tree diagram, to count how many outcomes will include red. Remember, reading a tree diagram, you follow the branches. If you didn't create a final outcome branch, that's okay, but find where red is in your tree diagram and kind of follow down and go up. So one outcome that will include red is small red thick, and then another one small red thin. While going over to our large, which was part of our first choice, we could have a large red thick, we could have a large red thin. Are there any more outcomes that are going to include red? No. So that would be a total of 4 outcomes that are going to include the color red. Now let's look for how many outcomes will include red and thick. So we have a couple more parameters there, red and thick. So find red again and thick. So we could have a small red thick. Any other ones with small? Nope. We could have a large red thick. Any other ones over on this side of my tree diagram with large? Nope. So that would be 2 outcomes that are going to include red and thick. So when we're looking for specific outcomes, we really want to focus in on whatever our sample space that we created is, whether it's a tree diagram or a chart, and find those specific outcomes. Now we could use this to further explore this experiment. Like, for example, what are the chances that if all of these blocks are in a bin that I pull out one that is red? We could use the information in front of us to figure that out. What are the chances that I pull out a rectangular shape that would be red and thick? Well, we know that there are 2 out of 12 total ones, and that's where we're going to move to next in our probability unit. Make sure you have your notes completed.